Today's WNEM TV5 Morning Extra is brought to you by Roof Max of Midland.
Thanks for joining us for TV5 Morning Extra. Remember, if you are watching us on Facebook or YouTube right now, like, follow, and comment on the stories that matter most to you. I'm Lauren Piesco.
And I'm Christine Winter. We are seeing a lot of school closings this morning. Let's go to First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro for a check of the snowfall and temperatures, too.
Yeah, Christine, Lauren, we certainly are tracking some icy and snowy conditions this morning. This is that second round of snow moving through mid-Michigan right now. And we had some freezing drizzle in the middle of the night that led to some icy roadways. There's I-75 and Birch Run with your wall side windows camera here. Looks like we're seeing that southbound side potentially slowing down a little bit too. So I'll have to turn that camera here in a couple of minutes and then we'll revisit this in the full forecast. But take a look at this here again. You're starting to see that snow sticking to some of the roadways here this morning. In regard to the freezing drizzle that we had, which that's mostly out of here now, but the treated roads have definitely been doing better. But even at this point with the snow moving through, we are starting to see those delays building up. First Alert Pinpoint Doppler shows the snowfall anywhere towards the thumb, places like Caro or Bad Axe or Ubley, especially around Flint right now. Towards the northwest, the snow is already ending. In fact, what we have right here on the radar, this is the most widespread the snow will be for the entire day today. So that should be out of here by about 9. Much drier for the remainder of the day, but turning windy as we go into the afternoon. Our drive times here, take a look at this. We are seeing those slowdowns starting to develop as well, especially on I-75, for example, kind of like we saw in Birch Run, Saginaw to Flint. We are starting to see that drive taking longer than normal. So if you can leave early this morning, I would definitely do that. More on that forecast, though, again, coming up in a little bit. But Lauren, we'll send it over to you.
All right, Matthew, thank you. Developing this morning, a lockdown on the campus of Oakland University in Auburn Hills has been mostly lifted. Following alerts of an assault last night, police tell us the victim, who wasn't a student, was stabbed multiple times and taken to a hospital. The lockdown originally went into effect last night after an incident at the Van Wagoner house. Investigators are looking for 2 men in their early 20s who were traveling in a dark-colored SUV. Anyone with information should contact OU police.
Right now, Michigan's Attorney General is asking people to document and report concerns over immigration enforcement in their community, but not everyone agrees with the plan. Dana Nessel's office says it's received more than 5,000 emails so far, but a Republican state lawmaker warns that asking for tips could also lead to problems.
In a few blue states where the governors and the mayors are encouraging people to get out there and try to engage with ICE, try to stop them from doing their jobs. That's where the problems are.
Meanwhile, supporters of the reporting form say this is about ensuring accountability.
Up until now, we have not had confirmation that people wouldn't be wearing masks, that they would be having badges or, police cams on them. We need to be ready to get all the documentation together for ourselves.
Critics point out this anonymous form could lead to false or excessive reports, making it harder to investigate legitimate complaints.
The Four Lakes Task Force says the weather right now is affecting construction work on the dams, those 4 dams there. It says concrete pours were slowed last month because of snow and extreme cold. And now the task force says Smallwood Dam's substantial completion date has been delayed by a month. But the Sanford Dam is now seen as substantially complete. That process to begin refilling Sanford Lake is expected to begin on April 15th.
What I heard was primarily fear, and fear of information, personal information, getting in the hands of the wrong people.
People in Genesee County are sharing their thoughts about license plate cameras in use across the area. A contract for 30 flock traffic cameras was automatically renewed in October, and county commissioners are being asked to approve $60,000 to keep them running through September. That proposal includes a $30,000 grant from the Department of Homeland Security to fund 10 more cameras through 2027. But now some people are raising concerns about privacy. While law enforcement says the cameras help solve crimes and cases where someone might go missing, some worry about who could eventually use the data they collect.
Our police, our sheriffs understand that we want to support them. Number 2, we don't want our citizens to fear that we're looking inside their homes.
Commissioners plan to revisit the contracts on March 11th after looking at the legal language, costs, and data projections. All right, across Michigan, a bipartisan group of state lawmakers is asking the National Institutes of Health to discontinue funding for medical experiments on dogs, specifically beagles, at Wayne State University. Clinton Township Representative Joe Aragona says the dogs undergo painful surgeries to install medical devices and then are forced to run on treadmills until they suffer heart attacks. Aragona calls the experiments cruel and unnecessary. Now, the NIH grant to Wayne State is scheduled to expire in March. Aragona requested that agency deny funding to the project beyond that time.
Attorney General Dana Nessel is trying to stop DTE's push to power a massive AI data center planned for the Ann Arbor area. She is asking the Michigan Public Service Commission to reconsider its approval of 2 DTE contracts for the center in Saline Township. She argues DTE has failed to fully agree to conditions aimed at protecting customers from costs to service the center, saying its response amounts to a counteroffer rather than an acceptance.
A Detroit man is accused of stealing the identities of at least a dozen people to get more than $400,000 in unemployment benefits and rental assistance. 58-year-old Stanley Butts is facing 20 felonies, including identity theft and false pretenses. If convicted, he could spend dozens of years in prison. He's set to face a judge in 2 weeks.
Well, happening today, it's the grand opening for Crumble Cookie in Midland. Their new location on North Saginaw Road opens this morning shortly at 8 o'clock. The first 100 customers in line by 10, though, receive an exclusive T-shirt and grand opening sticker. Other local Crumble locations include Saginaw, Davison, Benton, and Mount Pleasant.
In more local news now, young artists can now get a free seat to a performance at the Temple Theater on North Washington Avenue in Saginaw. The Seats for Students program gives complimentary tickets for 1 child and 1 adult to attend select live performances. You can find more information by clicking on hot links at WNEM.com.
Happening tomorrow, another food giveaway in Saginaw. The United Way of Saginaw County and the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan are teaming up to host a walkthrough distribution. That all begins tomorrow morning at 10 at the Old Town Christian Outreach Center on Gratiot Avenue.
In Flint, Powers Catholic High School is hosting a free medical screening event, and that's happening tomorrow, and it's being organized by the Genesee County Free Medical Clinic, the County Health Coalition, and other community partners. You can get your blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, and more checked to assess risks for a stroke. This runs from 9 a.m. to noon at the high school on West Court Street.
The New Creation Church of God is hosting a forum on the impact of human trafficking in Michigan tomorrow. Learn more about the warning signs and the dangers of human trafficking through art and advocacy. From 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., it's all happening at the church on Lennon Road in Flint. The event also serves to honor survivors and those still missing. This forum is free and open to the public.
The Soggy Bottom Bar in Flint is hosting a Galentine's Day fundraiser to support the YWCA of Greater Flint, teaming up with a Flint Roller Derby to collect gift cards, clothing, hygiene products, and diapers. There's going to be live music, a bake sale, and you can even make some Valentine's Day cards for the shelter. This runs from 1 to 5 p.m. tomorrow at the bar on MLK Avenue.
And Michigan Cream and Sugar celebrating National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day tomorrow with some early scoops. Guests can choose from 24 flavors. Remember, wear your pajamas and you get $1 off your order. Takes place at the Shops Bay City location on Uptown Drive and the Old Town Saginaw location on South Hamilton Street from 9 a.m. to noon. Craft beer lovers are gathering in Saginaw tomorrow for the 4th annual Winter Brew Festival, kicking off at the SVRC Marketplace. Tickets are $20 and include 6 drink tickets and a souvenir pint glass. Proceeds go toward the I Support the 1% Veterans Food Pantry. That festival runs from 4 to 9 p.m. Remember to drink responsibly.
The Midland City Forest is playing host to the annual cardboard sled race. You can build your custom sled and compete tomorrow starting at 11 a.m. Groups will be awarded on Best Theme, King of the Hill, and even Best Wipeout. Thanks so much for joining us live this morning for TV5 Morning Extra. We're going to take a very short break.
Yes, but when we return, remember, first, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or catching clips on Instagram, like, follow, and comment on the stories that matter most to you. We want to know. Matthew will have a check of your forecast when we return.
And as we go into this Friday, we are still tracking some wintry weather to start off the day. We had some freezing drizzle overnight. We have snow moving through right now. If you will be commuting soon, you'll definitely want to bear in mind that you will need extra time. In fact, if you are able to leave a little bit early this morning, you might want to do that too. There's I-75 in Birch Run with your wall side windows camera. So I know we're kind of looking through some of the trees there. I've turned the camera around because right at the beginning of the morning extra here, it actually looked like there was a big slowdown on the southbound side of the freeway. Doesn't look to be the case anymore, but you can see traffic on both sides of the freeway has been picking up. This is in Genesee County here on the traffic map. A couple of crashes coming in on the map. 75 south out of Grand Blanc Township going into Oakland County. That's starting to slow down more too. So again, we are seeing these drive times impacted by the snow and by some of that ice for this morning. The good news though is that with temps in the low to mid 20s right now, road salt actually does work pretty effectively. So even though we have some icy areas now, as more treatment is put down, we will start to see these roads getting a little bit better. First alert pinpoint Doppler does show that snow all across the thumb, Owasso, Flint, Lapeer into the Bay region and around Elma and Ithaca especially, starting to wind down around Mount Pleasant and Clare. In fact, you're seeing that break coming in from the northwest. That's actually the end of this system overall. So the core of the system has just stayed to our south. But what we have right now on the pinpoint Doppler, that is the most snow that we're going to see for today. So after this, it's only going to be just a few lingering flurries or some isolated lake effect at about noon or 1 o'clock. Otherwise, much drier. And we actually start to break some clouds up right before the end of the day today. But it is going to be windy this afternoon. Northwest wind gusting to about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So something to keep in mind for later today. That's going to bring these temps down pretty quickly from about 34 today to 0 tonight. Then we only have a high of 16 tomorrow and then 22 on Sunday. It's actually a pretty quiet weekend overall, though, if you do have any weekend plans, but it is going to be cold with these colder temps that we have, especially tomorrow in the teens. There is a cold weather advisory for tonight and tomorrow morning because of that wind and these cold temps coming in. We could actually have some wind chills down to about -15 or -20 as we start off the day tomorrow. But those wind chills tomorrow morning won't be around for the entire day. They'll come back up above 0 degrees during the afternoon. And then as we go into next week, notice this here. So after this cold weekend, especially too, we actually have more highs next week in the upper 20s to low 30s. So while it is still cool as well, Lauren, Christine, next week is going to be a bit warmer than some of these previous weeks.
All right, Matthew, thank you for those updates. National Girl Scout Cookie Weekend returns in just 2 weeks, meaning cookies will be widely available near you outside stores and at community events. And 100% of the money they earn stays local.
Yeah, using the funds from cookie sales, Girl Scouts enjoy educational opportunities in STEM. They learn about entrepreneurship, take part in summer camps and field trips, community service projects, and more. Let's go to TV5's Maggie Castraba. She's live in the studio now with a local Girl Scout ambassador from a troop out of Bridgeport to show us what's behind the box.
Lauren, Christine, thank you so much. Well, confidence can start young, and Girl Scouts is helping make that happen. And this morning we are talking about the skills girls are learning behind the box. And I'm joined this morning by Jasmine, a local Girl Scout. So Jasmine, thanks so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. And so we were talking about all the skills that you can learn within the Girl Scouts program. How have you built your confidence to start your own business? Can you touch on that?
I've built my confidence to start my own business with the skills that I've learned of customer service and money management through Girl Scouts. They've really helped me with talking with customers and interacting with customers, and also with money management and product sales and things like that.
Yeah. Look at you go, a go-getter. And so these cookie booths are starting up here in a couple weeks, and you guys are going door to door. So what does that process look like, and how do you guys prepare for something like that?
So for our cookie season, our online sales have already started, but we will be selling through April. And then for our cookie sales, we sell outside of stores, so like Walmart, Kroger, other stores like that. We also do online sales, or you could go through a local Girl Scout to go through an order sheet and order your cookies through there. And we just explain our products to people, the cookies and the dietary stuff like gluten-free and different things like that.
Okay, and when you are approaching a customer with these cookies and they're unsure, how do you sell them to the customers? I know we were talking Thin Mints are both of our favorites. I love to pop mine in the freezer. But if they're unsure what to get, we also have a new cookie. So how do you just approach customers with your products?
So every year we do get a new cookie. So first we'll offer up our favorite, we'll be like, this one is really good, it has this and that in there, and then we'll also show them the new cookies. So with the Explore More's, it's a Rocky Road ice cream thing cookie, so we'll explain that to them and just help them with their choices, or ask them different things that they like do they like things with nuts in them, do they like chocolate, caramel, different things like that, and then help them pick out their choices.
Yeah, and we were talking, the main driver right here is the sisterhood. That's one of the more special things about this program. So what do you love about the relationships that you've built and just being a part of this program with these girls?
I love getting to bond with them and doing different things with them, like community service and selling cookies, and also going to Girl Scout camp, doing things like canoeing and making s'mores, singing songs together and things like that. It's really fun.
Yeah. All right, Jasmine. And lastly, if someone is interested in joining this program, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to definitely join the program. It's a really good experience and teaches you a lot of lessons and skills that you're definitely going to need in life.
All right, Jasmine, thank you so much. Jasmine has been with us all morning long, so thank you again. And guys, it's more than just the cookies. It's about building leadership skills and confidence. So reporting it one last time in studio for TV5 Wake Up, I'm Maggie Castraba. Guys?
Maggie, thank you. And Jasmine's already started her own self-care and beauty business.
I love that.
Look at her go.
I know.
It's
Wait
amazing.
to see what's next for her. Can't wait.
All right, well, we want to check in one last time with Matthew for a look at your forecast.
Yeah, and that 7-day forecast here, a bit up and down with the temps as we go through the next 7 days. We'll reach 34 today, which is the warmest day we've had in about 3 weeks. We'll be back down to the teens for tomorrow, then low 20s on Sunday. So still a pretty cold weekend is ahead. And then we're actually back up to temps that are close to today's as we go into next week. So it is looking to turn, at least relative to where we've been, slightly milder for next week. And it's actually looking to be a pretty quiet week as of right now. But importantly for this morning, we have some snow moving through. Some roads are starting to slow down a bit. There's I-75 in Flint Township. In fact, that's right at Miller Road. So just definitely a morning that you'll need some extra time if you'll be heading out soon.
Yeah, take it slow out there. Matthew, thank you. And thanks for joining us on our live stream, TV5 Morning Extra.
Remember, you can always get more news online when it's convenient for you at WNEM.com. We'll see you right back here at 9.